I'm here today with Mike Barrick to speak with him a little bit about what his company's doing. Mike, thanks for being with us today. Invariably, as we go from 2G to 3G to 4G and roll out these new networks, problems arise along the way. Can you explain to me some of the challenges that you are in the business to overcome along the path to 4G?
First, there won't be LTE networks everywhere. They're only going to be in certain metropolitan areas initially, probably spreading out to rural areas. Because of that, if a user is using LTE and he's driving down the street, walking down the street in his neighborhood, he'll want to hand off to other technologies as he goes outside the rural area or outside the coverage in his farm or whatever it may be. Because of that, InterRAT handover or radio access technology handover will be very important, primarily from LTE to CDMA or LTE to WCDMA. Another important point will be battery power. Of course, battery life of a device, especially with LTE, with lots of data, could be very short. There'll be a lot of work on applications to make sure they don't use much battery power. A lot of work on amplifiers, RF technologies, to make sure they use minimal technology.
How specifically are you positioned to deal with some of these problems emerging from the rollout of 4G?
Well, we have handover capability that we're introducing today in the 8475, which is a new applications tester. We have handoff capability already existing in the 7834 mobile device test system, which is capable of doing InterRAT handovers to CDMA from LTE or to WCDMA from LTE.
Mike, one of the big issues of wireless handsets in general, whether it's the consumer or the operators looking at, is improving battery life. It's a big buzzword and of course a technical challenge. What do you see going on with the improvement of battery life, and what are some of the things that are challenges to battery life?
Well, I guess the number one user of battery life in a device would be probably the power amplifier, which means the higher power it transmits, the more battery it consumes. We have things to test the application layer, SMS, MMS, browsing, to make sure that you optimize that battery performance or RF performance of that battery consuming part of the device. We also have InterRAT handover, so you can make sure that the InterRAT handover doesn't consume so much battery power and so forth.
Mike, the speed at which things are evolving in this industry is incredible, and the next 2 years we're going to see all kinds of upgrades in networks on top of what we're talking about here today. What do you see happening over the next 2 years in the industry?
In the next 2 or 3 years, right now we're at LTE release 8, 3GPP release 8. In the next 2 to 3 years, I would imagine that we would see the first evolution of LTE Advanced, which is actually in 3GPP release 10, which of course goes to gigabit data rates from what is now 100 megabit data rates, so 10 times faster data rate. Also, we'll see, instead of circuit switch fallback to circuit switch networks for CDMA networks or for WCDMA, we'll probably see voice over LTE or voice over IP, so everything will be digital in the network. Right.
Mike, thanks for taking the time today to speak with us about some of what you're working on.
Thanks very much.